The key for professional services organization success, especially profit and growth acceleration, depends on three basic things. You need to find the right consultants at the right cost and deploy them quickly, means at the right time. It's easy to say, but very, very hard to implement. So in this video, I'm going to show you a framework which has been used by thousands of professional services companies to manage their resources. Hi, my name is Sach Chaudhari. I'm the CEO and founder of Paradiso Solutions. Paradiso provides consulting as well as end-to-end platform for training. We have worked with many professional services organizations to streamline their talent management. 4M framework is a systematic approach to manage skills across the organization using skills as a standard unit. This all started about 10 years ago when we were approached by many healthcare consultants, management consultants, many professional services companies, and they were struggling to find the right people quickly and, more importantly, deploy them and have a successful project. So to solve this resource and talent management problem, I created this 4M framework. So let's take a typical example of IT services company where, let's say, John is a director of operations. So sales has closed a deal to deploy 50 Java developers, and now John's job is to find these people and deploy them quickly. So the recruitment gets to the work. Some people are already on the bench, those could be deployed. Some of the projects are ending up, those resources. So adding up from all of these resources, John was able to find those consultants and he deployed on the client side. And after 3 or 4 months, client escalated the entire situation saying, most of these consultants are not what we were looking for. They're either too slow, they have not the skills we're looking for, and they lose the client. This is a very typical situation for a professional services company. So now with the 4M framework, these kind of situations will not happen. What it does, it creates an alignment between recruitment, sales, operations, and HR. 4M framework prevents wrong hires. It speeds up resource allocation. It improves customer satisfaction. 4M framework benefits are mainly about finding the right people quickly in recruitment. It also reduces the friction between various departments. So let's see what this 4M skills framework is. 4M skills framework has the first M as skill mapping. The second is skill measuring. The third is skill matching. And last is skill mastery. So in skill mapping, that's the first M. What you do is you look at your customer requirements, or you look at your job titles or consultant titles across the company. And for each of those titles, you figure out which skills are needed and at what level. So which skills and at what level for every job title or every requirement from the client. And when you map this in an Excel table or a software like a LMS system, then you're done with skill mapping. So the example of this would be, let's say a senior Java consultant is your job title. And this senior Java consultant needs to have, let's say, 5 different skills such as Java programming, machine learning experience, front-end programming, communication skill, as well as experience in system architecture. So those are the skills needed. And now each of these skills may not be needed at advanced or intermediate level. They may be needed at different level, and that's the level. And the 5 levels are, first level is a beginner level, second is a novice, third is intermediate, fourth is advanced, and fifth is expert. So by having these levels at 1 to 5, you are able to quantify and use the same language across the organization. So these levels are also referred as scales. Some company use the 3-pointer scale where it's proficient, non-proficient, not required. So every company would be different, but the most standard way of using the 5 levels. So let's take an example, continuing our senior Java consultant example. Let's say the customer needs the Java programming at advanced level, machine learning at an intermediate level, front-end programming at a beginning level, the system architecture at an advanced level, and communication at a novice level. So these are the requirements, these are the skill and the level the customer need. Once you map these, the job title, the skills and the level, you're done with the first step, which is skill mapping. So you can do this across a particular project or across your entire organization. Let's say you have 20 different job titles, starting from HR, such as HR manager, the HR executive, recruiters, Java programmers, system architects. So for each of these job titles, you want to list what are the different skills needed and at what level. At this point, you're not concerned about individual employees. You are getting the skill taxonomy, the skill map done. That's the first step. The second M stands for measurement, skill measurement. In this case, what you do is you take all your consultants or all your employees as rows, let's say in Excel, and all your columns are your skill names and skill levels. So for Java programmer, all the Java programmers in the company, and then various skills. So let's take an example. Let's say Carlos. He is at Java programming advanced level, machine learning at intermediate level, front end, let's say beginner level, so on and so forth. And there could be another programmer called Ravi. He could be intermediate in Java programming, but advanced in machine learning. So both of these will have a different skill score. Skill score is nothing but addition of your skills, and if you add up their scores, you get a skill score. So Carlos could have a skill score of 14 and Ravi could have a skill score of 10, let's say. So once you do this measurement across your organization, what you get is your skill inventory. Just like in retail, you have an inventory of products with associated pricing, so you can match the supply and demand. Similarly, if you could have a skill inventory of all your resources, then that makes the operations life so much easier. But how do you do these measurements? There are multiple different types. Every organization is a little different, but there are 2 standard ways. I have seen many organizations do the skill measurement across the company. First system is where you send out evaluation forms to 3 main groups of people: the consultant himself or herself, then the immediate manager or the lead of this consultant, and third, a colleague who knows that consultant very well. And all of these 3 people get the same evaluation form about the consultant, and it asks questions related to those skills which are required for the job to be done. So again, carrying on the examples of the senior Java developer, so the consultant will be asked, can you rate yourself on 1 to 5 on your Java programming skills? Rate yourself in machine learning skills. The same evaluation form will go to his manager, who would rate the consultant on the same skills, and similarly the colleague. So once you do this evaluation, you can take an average or take a weighted average of all these 3 evaluation results, and that will be the skill score of that candidate. And you do that with every single consultant, and what you get is a skill measurement, a skill inventory across your entire organization. So the evaluation forms, some may argue, are subjective. So there's another very objective way, and many companies also adopt the second way, which is evaluation test. So these tests have the questions which are like your typical exams or tests, which are done through LMS like Paradiso LMS under proctored system, and they ask the questions to measure what the ranking for a particular skill is for this particular candidate. They will ask to solve algorithm questions for the Java programmer, syntax and whatnot, just like you would do it in the recruitment phase. You send this evaluation test to these candidates, and you get a very objective rank of where a candidate A versus candidate B, what is the measurement or what is the skill score. So for each of the skills needed for that job title, you need to devise the test, or you buy the tests from the market and implement them in your LMS. So these standardized tests can work for the standard job roles. The third M is matching. So in this case, you match the consultant with the requirements, and not only the requirement in terms of the skills, but also in terms of the cost. See, the skill score gives you a good general indicator of the cost of the consultant. The higher the skill score, usually, the higher the cost. So depending on your requirement from your client, do they want high cost resources, medium cost, low cost, that gives you idea about their costing and how the skill score, what kind of skill score range you're looking for. And on another side, the exact skills they need. So the exact skill which we done the skill measurement, the inventory, that's where you can find the resources. So you want to have an LMS which gives you advanced search capabilities where you can filter the consultant using different skills as well as different levels. And once you find this consultant, you want to be able to look at their profile and be able to just take that profile and hit the send button and send the profile to the client. So Paradiso LMS and some of the advanced LMS, very few of them, do have these kind of features. Now the fourth M is skill mastery. This is where the training, upskilling, cross-skilling, coaching, and the whole L&D aspect comes into picture. See, we done the skill mapping, then we did the skill measurement, we did the skill matching also. So during these first three steps, we realize where are the gaps, the skill gaps in our organization, or the talent gap in our organization. And once we know these gaps, then training and coaching is one of the best way to fill that gap, because you cannot just keep hiring newer and newer consultant and let go of the consultant who have some skill gaps. So advanced LMS will give you ability to see a spider web diagram which graphically shows the skill gaps. It's almost like a blueprint of your L&D program. And advanced LMSs also, what they do is, based on the skill gap, they can automatically recommend the courses or the training the consultant needs to do. See, most of the traditional LMS are meant for compliance and onboarding training. They will not be able to support knowledge exchange, skill gap, all the 4 M's of the skill measurement and management. They will not be able to support informal training. They're mainly meant for, as I said, compliance and onboarding training. So you're looking for an LMS which not only has the traditional formal training aspect, which is learning paths, courses and certificates. All of that is almost every good enterprise LMS have. What you're looking for, if you're looking for a solution for professional services, what you're looking for, LMS which can give opportunity to create a roadmap for mastery for your consultant. And one of the powerful way besides the formal courses is to create a social or informal knowledge exchange marketplace, if you will, or a portal. So what happens in this portal is that the senior consultants or the consultant who just finished a project, they can do videos, they can add their documents, they can add different presentations, what they have learned, and share it in this internal portal, only accessible for your internal employees. And by sharing this knowledge, other consultants can upskill or cross-skill themselves really quickly. See, the technology moves so fast that by the time your external L&D vendor creates a course, the new version of the technology, whether it's Java or whether it's cloud, has already come up. So your course is already behind what's needed. But the consultants who are on the cutting edge, they're deploying these projects, they're getting the real experience, they are the real subject matter experts, not your trainers. So if these subject matter experts can create the content and share it, almost like your internal YouTube or a Netflix kind of user interface, and on top of that, if you incentivize, if you gamify this, so the consultants are encouraged to share, the consultants are encouraged to give comments and reviews and watch these videos, you're creating a very transformative culture where skill mastery becomes a reality. So while you're looking for LMS or this skill architecture system, what you want to do is find a system which has all of these 4 M's. You see, if you end up with a 3-legged stool or 2-legged stool, which only have, let's say, skill mapping or only have formal courses or formal compliance training, your program will fail. You'll end up going back to Excels. And that's when a lot of these companies start approaching Paradiso, and we built this framework about a decade ago and build a platform which can support this entire process from the measuring, mapping, matching, and mastery. So you want to be sure that you're choosing an LMS partner, a technology partner who can give you the end-to-end solution. Otherwise, this framework does not work. So let's recap the 4 M's. So the first M is skill mapping, where you're mapping your job roles with the skills and the level you need. The second one, very important step, you're taking an inventory of your organization. What do we have? What do we don't have? Is there enough supply when the demand comes in from the clients? We're talking about skills here, not commodity, but we can almost use the retail retail architecture where they manage the supply and demand with using an inventory management system. What if we have a skills management system which can help you figure out what you actually have and at what level of mastery? So the third step, the third M, is matching. That's where you make the money. And the faster you match, the more accurately you match, higher your profits and revenue. And the fourth important step is mastery, where you're giving opportunity to your consultants to upskill themselves, to fill that skill gap. So the next requirement comes, you have consultants who are ready to work on those projects. So those are the 4 M's. So the main benefit you get by implementing this 4M framework is that you streamline your entire organization, from recruitment to onboarding to getting them on projects, figuring out their training programs. All of this gets streamlined. Everybody talks the same language, skills. Second benefit is that you dramatically increase the customer satisfaction. First of all, most of the professional services requirements have a sense of urgency. That's why the client hired you, because they don't have internal resources. And they don't want to spend 6 months finding their own internal resources, so they go to a consulting firm like yours, and they expect that you have the resources ready to go at the skill level the client wants. So the speed matters. And what this system does, it really accelerates finding the right consultant within your organization. And if you don't have that, it makes the recruitment much faster because you have defined the exact skills and the levels. Third benefit you see is that the productivity across the organization goes up. Once you streamline the entire system, a lot of miscommunication, conflicts, friction between HR and operations, friction between sales and operations, between customer success manager and the operations manager, all of those frictions, all of those escalations starts to go down. And actually the productivity goes up. And ultimately all of this results into increased profits and revenue. See, when we talk to L&D leaders, quite often they're impressed with this framework and they complain that they don't have the budgets or they're not getting the exposure to the C-suite because the L&D is not important for the C-suite. The reason that happens because L&D is still caught up in the old paradigm of compliance and onboarding. That's just a very small part of the L&D for a professional services organization. If you really want a bigger budget, if you want to get on the radar for your on the radar of your CEO, then you got to help them get more revenue. You got to help them get more clients, increase customer satisfaction, and the best way to do that is present this framework as a platform which is going to accelerate the profits and the revenue. And many times I have seen that when I train the L&D managers, the chief learning officers in various professional services organizations, whether it's a healthcare consulting, whether it's IT consulting, management consulting, when they implement or understand this framework and they're able to present it in a way where the C-suite will understand, all of a sudden the L&D becomes very important aspect of the entire operations for the professional services, and then they get this sense of urgency to implement this, they get the right budgets and right exposure, and it really transforms the entire organization within 6 to 12 months. We have seen this over and over again. So the smart professional services organizations have figured out that the L&D, the new age, the modern L&D with 4M framework can really become the competitive advantage for them. So as a next step, check out the link in the descriptions. You will find some templates, you'll find a detailed ebook. You can also email us at sales@paradisosolutions.com or visit us on paradisosolutions.com or give us a call. We also understand that every company's workflow and processes and culture and their history and their future projection, they're all different. Every company is unique, especially the successful companies who have over 500 consultants, So what we realized is that the 4M framework is a way of thinking, but it needs to have an implementation partner who has the kind of technology, who can adapt to your workflow and your custom needs. So our Paradiso LMS or the Paradiso One platform is very modular. It's like Lego pieces where you can, with the same pieces, you can make a car or you can make a house. So using these various modules, you can see where in your learning and development process, where the gaps are. What are the custom workflows you need? We are able to build a very customized platform on the foundation we have. And while doing that, we do not break the integrity and the robustness of our platform because every custom work is a module. So I would really like to hear comments, questions, or get us on a call with your team and let's discuss how we can help you accelerate the profit and revenue in your organization using this 4M skills framework.